So I'm back again, and I wanted to address another issue that has really pissed me off. There is a social influencer named the Slumflower. I believe she's Nigerian, and she has come out today. She did an interview with this magazine, I believe, called It or ID, whatever, and she's basically said, wait for it. She's basically said, Carnival is let me get it correct. Carnival is a celebration of black people as iconic cultural innovators that we are. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, why is she complaining about what she just said? Listen, if you know anything about Notting Hill Carnival, you would know that it was created by, wait for it, Caribbean people. Just saying black people is incredibly dismissive, and it does not acknowledge the roots. Now, if we are talking about Carnival in the Caribbean, that's a whole separate issue. I mean, say for example, crop over in Barbados. Crop over in Barbados was started in 1687, and it was originally called Harvest Home. And it was basically a celebration. The slaves would celebrate the end of the crop over season. That's why they call it crop. Once they harvested the crops, they would have a massive celebration. And that is now a massive carnival in the Caribbean. Not to the levels of obviously Notting Hill Carnival, because it gets thousands compared to Notting Hill Carnival gets millions. However, I actually made a little mistake when I did yesterday's video. I said that Notting Hill Carnival started in the 1980s. Yeah, my brain wasn't functioning yesterday. It actually started in the 1950s. And it started as a way to celebrate Caribbean culture, to break down the barriers that was happening in the UK, because there was a lot of race riots and people were basically pushing back against the black Caribbean people. I mean, if you think about it, there was not a lot of African people in the UK back in the 1950s when Notting Hill Carnival started. So when someone like the Slumflower says it's a celebration of black people, it's incredibly dismissive. It's a celebration of Caribbean culture. And that is what she needs to understand. Now, the funny thing is, what pissed me off is when she did that article, and I was like, I cannot understand what you're saying, because it was actually started by black people, especially in the Caribbean. It was started by black African people as celebrations of either the end of harvesting, or as a way to push back against the slave masters. They was able to have their little parties and stuff where the slaves were excluded from it. So the slaves started doing their own little parties and fetes and all these kind of things, and that is what kind of started Carnival. And it wasn't just in Trinidad, it was in Barbados, it was all these little islands were doing this. However, Trinidad was the first country in the Caribbean to actually have something called, Carnival, and nobody can take that away from them. However, other islands were doing similar things before. My issue is, you cannot just say it's a celebration of black people and how innovative we are. You need to acknowledge its roots. Caribbean people came to the UK, they saw what was happening back home, and they said, you know what, I'm going to do something similar here in the UK. We're not going to forget our roots. We're going to bring Carnival here as well. You're going to see our culture. You're going to see in its magnificence, the bright colours, the food, everything. It makes you feel like you're back there, even though you're not there. The steel pans, which were invented by Trinidadian people. All of these kind of things. Soca music, soca, calypso. Trinidad was responsible for a lot of that music coming out. And so that is why when you go to Notting Hill Carnival, or pretty much any carnival in the world, there is a lot of soca music. It can be bashment soca, standard soca, you can have boyan soca. There's so many different forms. It is amazing. However, I really did not like how the Slumflower just dismissed it, just said, oh, it's a celebration of black people. Yes, you are right, because back in the day, black African people were the ones who kick-started it off. However, it's a celebration of Caribbean people, how we do things. and there was a very specific reason why it was even started. And if you don't know the history of the Caribbean, and you don't know about Caribbean people, you should not be asked about something like that. We need to be asking us, ask us West Indian people, British West Indian people, Caribbean people actually from the Caribbean, ask them about it, because we know more. Oh, for God's sake, you're so idiot, just pick up a brass old book, man. Just pick up a freaking book, and maybe then you will understand why it pisses us off when people just brush us to the side and erase us and speak to someone who's not even part of Caribbean culture. We have no problem with African people taking part in Notting Hill Carnival, or actually any carnival around the world. We have no problem with this, but acknowledge the roots, acknowledge the history, and for God's sake, acknowledge the people who pioneered it. It was Caribbean people who pioneered it here in the UK. Okay, we understand the roots. It started off from slavery in the Caribbean, but however, if we're speaking about Pacifics, then here in the UK it was started by Caribbean people. So don't forget where it started from in any facet. Just acknowledge we, because if we decided, you know what, fuck this, I'm not gonna be doing Notting Hill Carnival anymore. Because let's keep it real. I mean, it's not like we getting included in everybody else's thing anyway. So why do you feel the need to dismiss us and what we doing? It don't make a raw or bit of sense. So you know what? Your mother skunks need to shut up. And I'm sorry, the slumflower, you need to shut up as well, because you don't know jack shit about Caribbean culture, but you got the fucking nerve to be talking about it's a celebration of black people. Caribbean culture, there's black people, there's Asian people, there's Indian people in the Caribbean as well. It's a celebration of all. That's why whenever you go to carnivals around the world, you see all sorts of races celebrating. So next time, do your research like you would write an assignment. Do your freaking research, yeah. Okay? And stop plagiarizing we. Alright? Bye.